Yeah, so I just want to show you quickly here. Some people say he's the OG Thor. I mean, look at him, bro. Look at this guy. This is the 70s, bro. Look at the hair. He's holding a hammer. Buff. There's a bit of blue there, and it's a red cap.
And
You
that's
know?
cool. That is very
How
cool.
cool is
It's
that?
kind of like Nicolas Cage. It's Nicolas Cage and Superman all over again.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But funny enough, it's like he has Mark Ruffalo's face,
Mhm.
but he has like Chris Hemsworth's hair or something. I don't know how to
Yeah,
explain it. It's like if
like
Thor now had a baby.
he looks too Italian to be blonde.
Hey everybody, what's up? This is Mr. Extraordinary back with yet another video. This is African Frame Podcast. Welcome, 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 welcome. Thanks to everybody that's been checking out our videos. The Justice League New Frontier video is at 113 views. So thank you so much, guys. We truly appreciate it. I'm not alone. I'm with Rob Sibeko as always. Rob Sibeko is an author of Jin's War, Bludgeon Ball, Heist. I mean, you can see them at the back there. If you look at his video, he's also a director. He's a writer, and yeah, we are basically going to be dissecting movies as usual. And today we wanted to do something. It's actually probably the first Stanley Kubrick movie we've done. It's called Full Metal Jacket. So before we get into it, I just want to say a couple of things. So Stanley Kubrick is considered to be one of the best movie directors of all time. He has directed films such as 2001: Space Odyssey, A Clockwork Orange, The Shining, Eyes Wide Shut, and Full Metal Jacket, to name a few. I'm not sure if I'm forgetting a significant one. As is the one that I'm forgetting that's quite significant from Kubrick?
Doctor Strangelove is something people love. The black
Oh
and
yeah,
white.
yeah, yeah. That's
That
a
is a
Bond
big.
film, right?
No, 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 no. You're thinking of. I know what you're thinking of, but it's like a comedy basically that basically makes fun of war. It's a pretty cool movie.
Oh,
Hey, we'll do one. We'll do it because there's cool stories about it. It's really funny because the
right.
actors ended up being pissed off about the whole thing. It's so funny. But yeah,
Kubrick did a comedy.
yep. Because what happens, it's so funny, right? So there's like proper comedians, and then you get like real life dramatic actors, right? And there were some scenes that were like, you know what, guys, let's just do this as a joke, right? And that was a scene that was in the movie because the movie was like talking about these world leaders that were like going over like a war, and basically the movie is not the idea is that it makes fun of war by making fun of like the seriousness of it. So like
Mm.
for example, there'll be like two world leaders that are physically fist fighting each other, and then someone will go in like, "You guys can't fight here. This is the war room." You get the idea?
So it's basically satire.
Yeah,
Oh,
fantastic
cool.
movie. Yeah, you
Um,
mentioned Eyes Wide Shut. You mentioned The Shining. You
yes,
mentioned A Clockwork Orange. Um,
2001: A Space Odyssey,
Odyssey, of course.
Eyes Wide
Yep.
Shut.
Yep. You did.
Yeah.
Also, his most legendary movies, of course.
Yeah, no, definitely. And just some, I guess you could say, trivia as well is that he started as a photographer before he he actually became a filmmaker, which is quite interesting. I mean, I know some people will say stuff like, I remember with John Lasseter, someone told him that if you can do like a 2 minute, 3 minute animated short, then you can do a movie, you know, and that comment inspired them to actually do Toy Story.
Mm.
So it's amazing that you can start from somewhere,
Yep.
but that actually shows you how far you can actually go, or whether you're actually prepared to do something even bigger, you know. Um, yeah, so this movie came out, I believe, in the 80s. To be specific, it was
1987.
1987.
Right.
Um, yeah,
My
with a,
age.
pardon?
My age. I'm this movie years old.
Wait, were you born in 87?
Yeah.
Oh, I had no idea. You're basically like, I don't know, a couple of months older than me, a few months older than me. Because
Oh,
I'm born in 88.
okay.
Yeah.
Nice. thought you're gonna be like 1990 something. I was gonna get mad.
No. I was born in 88. I had no idea
Okay.
you were older than me, but it makes sense now.
Hmm.
Um,
I
so,
don't know why it makes sense, but
hey man, your beard game is just on another level. um, so they had a budget of 16.5 to 30 million, and they made basically 120 million at the box office. The film stars Matthew Modine as TJ Joker Davis. It has Vincent. I'm not sure if I'm gonna butcher his name or not. Onofrio,
Vincent D'Onofrio, yeah.
who plays Leonard Lawrence, aka Gomer Pyle, Lieutenant Pyle, and Lee Ermey.
Known for Daredevil.
Oh, you mean Vincent
D'Onofrio, yeah. Known for
D'Onofrio? Yeah.
Daredevil. Kingpin,
He's
yeah.
known for portraying the Kingpin in Daredevil, and he's been in films such as Jurassic World. He's been in Men in Black.
Law and Order, Criminal Intent.
Yes, Law and Order: Criminal Intent, The Godfather of Harlem.
Yeah.
He's quite a versatile actor, to be
Yeah.
honest. There's this movie
Modine, yeah.
where I think that movie was done in the 70s where he's holding a hammer and this girl is telling him that he looks like Thor and he's buff, bruh. Like, I think he was very young at the time and he has blonde hair, he's wearing a cap. Let me see if I can share screen
Yeah,
quickly.
sure. While you're doing that, let's not forget about Matthew Modine, who
Yeah.
was in Oppenheimer and was the main bad guy in season 1 of Stranger Things.
Oh, is it? Was he the bad guy in Stranger Things? I haven't seen Stranger Things yet.
Oh yeah, no, he's basically if you watch season 1 of Stranger Things, which is one of the best seasons of all TV in my opinion. Yeah, he's like this terrifying government doctor that is the guy that's been experimenting on the main character basically.
Right.
And yeah, they're running from him, and it's that and monsters. But yeah.
Oh, and he was also in The Dark Knight Rises. He was also in what's this movie that I'm Jobs. Steve Jobs with Ashton Kutcher. I think he's the
Yeah.
one that played John Scully.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just want to show you quickly here. Some people say he's the OG Thor. I mean, look at him, bro. Look at this guy. This is the 70s, bro. Look at the hair. He's holding a hammer. Buff. There's a bit of blue there, and it's a red cap.
And that's
You know?
cool. That is very
How
cool.
cool is that?
It's kind of like Nicolas Cage. It's Nicolas Cage, Superman all over again.
Yeah. But funny enough, it's like he has Mark Ruffalo's face, but he has like Chris Hemsworth's hair or something. I don't know how to
Yeah.
explain it. It's like if
Like,
Thor and Hulk had a baby.
He looks too Italian to be blonde.
Yeah, so I want to check out that movie, man. I love old movies. But yeah, those are some of the people that are there. And I think the other thing that I wanted to mention about this is, yeah, he had to gain a couple of pounds for the role, so that he can look big and fat, you know. He was huge, but he was not fat, I think.
Yeah.
So he had to, you know, gain a couple of pounds for the role. And wow, this is an amazing film. I genuinely feel like it feels like I'm watching two movies. And I don't know if that was deliberate, but it genuinely feels like I'm watching two movies. So we'll get into it. Yeah. So I just wanted to say those things before we get into it. I don't know if there's anything else you want to add.
Shout out to R. Lee Erming, rest in peace. For those guys who don't know him, he was in he's been in a lot of movies. He's been in a lot of movies, a lot of comedies. He was actually a drill sergeant in real life. He was a Marine and a drill sergeant. And he was the voice of the toy soldiers in Toy Story. I did not know that. Yeah.
Yeah, so when I did some research about him is okay, so there's basically a drill instructor and a drill sergeant, no? I don't know who that is. So he was a drill instructor.
Drill instruction, yes. And Army is drill sergeant. I'm not sure.
Yes. So he basically quit the army or retired. I don't know how to put it. and he just basically told himself that he wants to venture into Hollywood, and basically he got typecast as a military man because he has the experience. And funny
Yeah.
enough, someone else was actually cast in his role, in this role,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
but he did a tape,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that tape was so convincing that Kubrick was like, no, no, we have to make this guy.
In fact, he was an advisor. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
And they
And
were like,
the guy in the film who's actually just shooting innocent civilians in the helicopter,
mm,
that's the guy that was actually supposed to play this role. So Kubrick got the guy to just play that role of that mad, trigger
I think
happy
right choice.
soldier.
They made the right choice here. Yes.
Yeah, no, definitely. This guy, he knocks it out of for me, he's actually the best part about this film, in
Yeah.
my opinion.
They make
Like
it.
I don't know how many times I laughed out loud, man. And I also discovered that he basically improvised some of the
Yeah.
lines.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why it works so well, because
Yeah.
some of these things that he's saying, you cannot write them. You cannot write
Yeah.
them. You
Yeah.
cannot write them.
Get
Yeah.
embarrassed putting them on paper. He's like, I'm going to get cancelled.
Yeah, man. So you want to get into it?
um, yeah, I think I've got all my stuff ready. Yeah.
So,
Um,
yeah. Basically, I think the film starts with the recruits at boot camp and they're getting
yep,
their head shaved, right?
yep. A nice country song, very smooth country music. Kind of gives you a nice little, this is the life they used to be kind of vibe. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
Because obviously, the country's America. They're playing very hard. Well, what can you say? OG American music. You know what I mean? Very
Mm.
country. Yeah, getting the haircut, everything's easy. They all look very dopey. I think that's what I love. They just look so dopey and kid-like. And then, yeah, you don't know that their lives are being shaved away with that haircut. That lasts about 2 minutes, and then we're ripped away. The music cuts, and we are now in the military. They're in that room that you see in the back in your background. And yeah, you get one of the best intros ever. Like I've even seen YouTube videos of people reacting to just this drill sergeant section. It is, yeah,
Yeah,
legendary.
that's true. That's true.
And
I genuinely think this is the stronger act
mm,
of the film.
mhm.
Yeah.
Definitely. What's nice about this in terms of writing is that this is a nice way of setting up exposition. Like, if you want to know what world you're in, you know what I mean? Because this movie, in my opinion, is all about atmosphere. We've discussed atmosphere before, but this is one of those most. What makes this movie so good is that it's atmospheric. And I was watching some reaction channels, and they were like, "I feel like I'm a part of the movie." This is what we're talking about. So this is the setup. Joe Sargent sets up the universe, the atmosphere. Yeah, Marshall said exposition to story. Instead, they use it as now just exposition. When I say exposition, what I mean exposition of the characters. So we know what the Joker's like. He's
Mhm.
he's very he's very comedic, even when it doesn't make sense,
Yeah.
even when it's to his own detriment. You know what I mean? Like
This is throughout the entire movie, not the first act, right?
exactly. But
Right.
it sets it up. You see it for the first time here.
Yes.
I mean, Joker's Jokerisms. Like he's like this. Everyone's getting yelled at, and the Joker decides to suddenly do a John Wayne impression out of the blue.
Out of the blue, bro.
Like it's so funny watching other people's faces, being like, "Why would he do that? Why would he do that?" Even like hardcore military people are like, "Why would he do that?"
I wonder how old he was here, because he looks so young. Like he
Oh,
looks like he was in his 20s or something.
he looks so young, dude. It's amazing.
And
Um,
in terms of filming as well, I wonder whether they started with this section of the film or if they started with the second half of the film. Because in the second half of the film, he has a whole lot of hair, right? Uh,
mm.
uh, so did they have to wait until he grew his hair back? Or did they start with, I
It
wonder.
could be that they shot it in reverse. It's possible, though. I have a feeling emotionally that might not be a great idea. But you know, film they cut these things into pieces. I wouldn't be surprised if they just shot it in one line and then just took the time.
Right.
Yeah, because I wouldn't be surprised if they did that. But at the same time, it makes more sense to shoot it backwards. You're right there. But don't know the answer, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, what we get in this scene is like its own set piece as the Joe Pargent steals the show. Emmy kills. Yeah, we get a thing which we also get an idea of who we get to meet our lead characters, you could say.
Yes.
Snow, Joker, Cowboy, and of course Gomer Pyle by Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yeah, and it's weird because they are the people that they actually show getting their head shaved.
Mm.
I'm not sure if they show other people, but I think like those are the main guys that are shown
But-
that getting their head
But you
shaved.
see them, yeah,
So
they're
it's
part of the
what five characters here that you will, by the time this act is done, you would have known who's who, because it's like you said, it's Pyle, it's Joker, it's the drill instructor, it's Snowball,
Mhm.
and it's who's the other guy?
Gomer. That's the guy, Vincent D'Onofrio's character. Joker, Cowboy, Snowball, Gomer Pyle. Snowball is the black guy.
Yes.
Joker is Joker. Cowboy is the one that basically gets like nearly beaten up.
Both
Before,
guys.
before Joker saves him by admitting fault. And I feel like
He was also wearing glasses. That's the guy you're talking about.
yes,
All right.
I feel like that sets up future scenes of Cowboy. Kind of that set up his character as well. Like he does get like he's not as imposing as the other characters.
Yeah.
Like, he's very short, and I feel like that comes against him later on in the storyline, as you'll see. And then, of course, Gomer Pyles has got his own. It kind of sets up his storyline as well because this man can't control himself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like stop smiling. You got 3 seconds to stop smiling, and he can't.
It's like, I cannot help myself, sir.
Yep. And then they teach him a lesson. Unfortunately, yeah.
What did they do? What was the first thing they did to him again?
They said choke yourself, right?
Oh yes, yes.
Yeah. Then they choked. Yeah. It was pretty bad.
And that was actually the last time he actually smiled throughout the until the last part. But like that was the last time he couldn't help himself with that emotion.
Yes, like it turns the other way around. Let's put it like that. You could say that.
Yeah.
Again, what's nice about this is I think I mentioned it before in one of our old stories, is that this is what it means to read through a script. This is why drafts matter. In case you're wondering, Stanley Kubrick would do multiple drafts of a storyline. Like,
Yes.
this man has a museum basically.
Yes, I've heard about that. Like there's like piles and piles of paper.
Yeah.
In a room somewhere.
Exactly. Yeah, it's lined up because he doesn't just do 1 or 2 drafts. He does like 10, 28. So you can see that this is not accidental. Whatever you think is accidental, I swear to you, it's not. You know what I mean? Thingamajiggies are tying together. These are all character moments.
Right. Also, just to add on what you say I think in terms of cuts as well, or rather takes.
Yes.
He has so many takes, and I think someone said, I was watching a video and someone was saying, it's like asking a painter how many strokes they used for a painting. You know, that's when you look at the art piece, you don't ask the painter how many strokes they used. You know, the same applies with takes. You don't really have to question how many takes I need for this specific scene, because when it's finally done, you'll understand why we had to do so many takes. You know, yeah, and also to add on another director who I believe, okay, there's 2 directors that come to mind. The first one is Christopher Nolan. I mean, Nolan does extensive research. He takes his time, you know, to draft a script. He would read books about the subject matter, but also Akira Kurosawa. I remember there's an interview where he was asked what advice he would like to give upcoming filmmakers, and he said, keep writing, write, and use a pen and use a paper and pencil. Write, don't be lazy to write, keep writing. You know, so just to add on to what you're saying, like writing is so important.
Yeah.
It is crucial to, I guess, the art of what you're doing.
Yeah. And also, I also think this story is not I don't want to use the word story, but at the same time, it's the best word. This story is not a story. If you actually think about it, some of these elements, they don't actually tie together. They would in a movie.
Yes.
Like, for example, I know I'm jumping ahead, but like, for example, when in the final battle, when they fight the sniper, right?
Yeah.
In a typical story, what would happen is that sniper would have been one of the prostitutes we saw earlier. You know what I mean?
Oh, yes.
That would have tied it together.
Right.
Or the guy that steals the camera would have been one of the Viet Cong they see later on.
Right.
But
Right.
no, that never happened. Everyone's not connected to anything else.
Right.
No scene is tied directly to the next scene, except maybe this beginning part. But otherwise, next thing happens, they move to the next step, move to the next step. And if you actually listen
Yes.
to the narration, the Joker just keeps talking about the next mission, the next mission, the next mission.
Because when I was watching it, I felt like it. Can I put it? I felt like I was watching a documentary without the voiceover.
Mm.
Because there's moments, like you're saying, there's moments, let's say there's moments where they're jogging and they're saying something, no, 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 no. All of a sudden, there's an obstacle course or something that they have to face. And the drill instructor is just making sure that he's hammering these guys.
Yeah.
And then the next scene, they're all sitting down and he's asking them questions about how many square feet. So it's like, whoa, it's like, okay, basically, we're not going to show you everything that happens here, but we're going to show you moments, crucial moments where certain things happen between all these characters.
Yes, I believe that is correct. And also, like for example, to watch any other army movie like Major Payne or these other movies, they'd be inspirational music. It would be one big montage. It wouldn't be 45 minutes of the story.
Yeah.
It would be a beautiful montage with like two scenes in between, and you watch them all da, 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 and they get better. You know what I mean?
Or some Eye of the Tiger type of music in the background to
Exactly.
motivate you to do the same.
Exactly. No, they are just. It is. You're not. We're taking a photograph. We're not recording anything special. Exactly.
And I don't even think there was much music for the
There wasn't.
a lot of music in this.
It was very talk. I'd say, let's say Tarantino uses like 10 songs, then Kubrick uses like 3. So I would say altogether it's about 5 songs if you include the final song. There's one song in the beginning. There's 2 to 3 Vietnam songs, and then one song at the end. That's it.
That's amazing. And also, I guess, I'm not sure if anybody has done what Cameron did before. I mean, when you think about Titanic, he used one song throughout. I'm sure there were other songs, but it seemed like there was only one prominent song throughout the entire movie.
Sometimes that can help. One of my best uses of music is, funny enough, not a grand movie. It's a small movie. It's 8 Mile. The whole movie, they are setting up one song that lose yourself. It becomes the background music. It becomes diegetic. Eminem's playing in his head, trying to build the thing, and then eventually the song comes together in the end of the movie. It is artistic genius. And I believe Eminem was involved in that process. I'm not sure. But that when you take the outside and you put it in the inside and you integrate it like that to make something beautiful, incredible. Yeah. So back to the thing. Yeah. So that was all about 5 minutes, by the way. That's a lot in the story. It does a lot to strip people of the notions of independence and coolness. That whole time period is him cutting people down, which is what those parties are supposed to do, by the way.
I mean, he told them that, look, by the time, like, you will not like me, I will deliberately be hard on you.
Yes.
But by the time we leave here, you'll basically appreciate all my efforts, type of thing. And also, I think there's something that I wanted to ask you, whether Pyle was, like, when he couldn't help himself, was it because of what Joker did earlier, or is it because he was just not taking this whole thing seriously?
Okay, I actually do discuss this in my notes, so I'm going to be jumping the gun a little bit. I think it is what I say is the answer is yes to everything. Yes, what Joker did to him broke his heart. Absolutely. If we're talking about the same thing, like I think we're talking about.
No,
then
no,
yeah.
I'm talking about the John Wayne.
Oh, you're talking about the drill sergeant scene? So
Yeah, in the beginning, like was Leonard. The reason Leonard couldn't help himself is because he's probably thinking about what Joker did, or was he just not taking this whole thing seriously?
I think he was not taking this whole thing seriously because you have to remember something. There's clearly something wrong with Leonard Coleman. There's something wrong with him mentally. You know what I mean? Because in that time period, because you have to remember, these people were drafted, and this was before proper mental illness training. You know what I mean? The idea that maybe Leonard is on a spectrum is not something anyone would have considered for a second. Like the way I see it is Joker probably legitimately has a low IQ. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I'm not saying he's like fully on the spectrum, but I think he's like he actually has an actual condition that makes him struggle. But at the same time, he does have actual weaknesses, if that makes sense.
Who, Joker or Leonard?
Oh, I'm talking about Piles, so Leonard, yes.
Oh, okay. I think he probably has like ADHD or something, especially when that scene where he was supposed to like put the gun on his right or something.
Oh, yes.
And he deliberately puts it on his left.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think it's because he does get it eventually. So he's not completely hopeless, like psychologically.
Right.
He gets it in the wrong way, of course. It turns out to be a problem. But he does end up pulling himself together. So technically, it's not a question of it was impossible, but what it took to make it happen. Because you have to remember something that's very important. He does get a little bit better when Joker starts to focus on him. You know what I mean?
Thanks to the drill instructor, because he told him that, look, you need to make sure that you take care of this guy.
Yes. So, and if you pay attention to the scene, you actually see he does get better. He doesn't get good. He's still slow.
Yeah.
But he does get better.
Right.
But there wasn't. But unfortunately, because there's no such thing as getting perfect, his locker ends up being open. He fails the inspection, and yeah, it's not great. But I'm probably going to go into more detail later on. Let me just, I want to get into more detail because I've actually got questions for you to see how we can go over this.
Okay.
Cool. 7 minutes in, we are not doing PT. We get our first Joker narration. It's not pure exposition. It's just a simple little thing where he talks about what's happening. What I like about it is it's not boring narration like with The Last Airbender. Don't even get me started on that movie. M. Night Shyamalan. Yeah. Starcraft fell in love really fast. No, there's meaning to the exposition.
Right.
One core point shown with the attack on Gomer is the death of individuality. It is hammered down on Joker and is the cause of pain on Joker. Basically, Gomer is struggling when they're smacking him around. You know what I mean? This eventually gets so bad that it makes Goku stand out more. Now, you have to remember something. The military breaks you down because, to be fair, you're not supposed to be outstanding in the military. You know what I mean?
You're a unit. Everybody's supposed to be the same to a certain degree, right?
Exactly. So, and if you think about it carefully, that actually happens to both. That's why we see Joker and Gomer specifically, is because it actually happens to both of them. Because I think they're both opposite sides of a certain spectrum.
Right.
Joker is too much in some ways, and Gomer is just not enough. Or Leonard is not enough.
Because I'm not sure if I'm jumping the gun. You'll let me know if I'm maybe being too fast. But the scene where Joker's being asked whether he likes the Virgin Mary, and he says no, and they keep asking him. He says no, and then he says, "Sir, because I'm not sure if any answer I will give will be the right one, sir." You know.
He says, because if I back down, then I've already failed the question. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So either way, I fail.
Yeah. Either way, I fail. Yeah. And
that's such a good answer. Yeah.
Yeah.
that they're promoting him.
Yeah, they were promoting him, but demoting Snowball in the process,
Yeah.
right?
Which is an interesting question when we talk about this movie and race. Because I feel like there's almost a low-key message there. But I'm not talking about the chicken and watermelon line. I'm talking about the fact that Snowball.
I wonder if that was written. But you see, before we get there, he did mention that race does not like racism.
Yes,
There's no racial.
yes.
That's why he mentioned all the
The terrible
offensive,
word. Yes.
yes, all the offensive words for each race, because it's like, look, I'm gonna say the N word. I'm gonna say this. That doesn't matter here.
Yep.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, you'll see later on with the other black people involved in the storyline,
Yes.
like with we will like with 8 Ball. Oh God. Okay. Yeah. Um. Yeah. Yeah. Like that whole scene happens. We see a scene where Joker's trying to help Goma run. Like he's trying to drag him along. This is even before the promotion, actually. Like
Yeah.
you see, yeah, like Goma's just.
I honestly
And
don't know whether to call them friends or not. You know.
I just think, I think there's a kindness to Joker. Like when Joker like does that
Yes.
stupid thing, and he could technically sell out Cowboy,
Yes.
quiet, but he doesn't. He ends up confessing. So I think there's a goodness in Joker that we're supposed to notice.
What did Cowboy do again for Joker to?
Remember, Joker does the John Wayne line, and then um, Harden is like goes straight to Cowboy and says, I bet it was you. And then starts like he's about to strangle him, right?
Right.
He's like, I'm gonna give you PT until you know what I mean? And then Joker confesses before all that goes down. So Joker could have just kept the hell quiet, but it didn't. So I feel like that was a character moment for Joker.
Right.
I'm the good guy. So when you see Joker later on being the only person really helping Goma up, it's because that's who Joker is.
But you see, that's one of the things that I like about this movie is you don't. Okay, maybe because I was watching it for the first time. I didn't think Joker was the main character until the end of the first arc.
Mm.
Then I was like, oh, flip. So this is about this guy, you know? I genuinely thought the movie was about Pyle.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I've watched it multiple times, so you kind of get to see him in every. He's almost in every scene.
Yes.
It's kind of funny. He's in the background, but he's there.
Yeah.
And in reality, what we're doing is we're actually watching Goma through Joker's eyes. Recently, I don't know what number of viewing this is, but I've only realized this now. You know what I mean? Because, dog, this movie. Okay, you know who? Gosh, now I forgot his name. Annie Hall. You know that movie?
Are you talking about Woody? What's this guy?
Allen? No.
Woody Allen, yeah.
Woody Allen, yes. He talked about Stanley Kubrick, right? He talked about watching Space Odyssey. So the first time he watched the movie, he didn't like it. Then a few years later, he watched it again. He was like, actually, no, this is pretty interesting. Then a decade later, he watched it again, and he was like, this movie is incredible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wasn't ready. You know what I mean? Like he wasn't ready. Or rather, the more times you watch it, the more it digs into you. And
Yeah.
I realized that this is what this movie is to me. It dug into me. I'm almost ruining it for you. I feel bad now because I feel like the stuff I'm explaining to you.
Because I feel like,
Yeah.
you know how when you listen to hip hop, right? Like the first time maybe you listen to a song, maybe you like the melody. And then the second time you listen to it, you actually like the message. The third time you listen to it, you like the hidden messages and the metaphors. And so I feel like Kubrick is one of those directors whose work grows with you over time. It matures with you over time. He's not the only director to be able to do this, but I think he's one of them because um, I remember when I didn't finish 2001. I need to watch it again, actually. Maybe we'll talk about it one day. But the first scene that shows those gorillas
Yes.
was too long for me. I was like, what? why am I watching this scene for this long? It felt unnecessary. Like, wow, 20 minutes or 15 minutes of just gorillas just minding their own business. I'm like, what am I watching? No narration, nothing.
Yep. I was going to mention this later, but you cannot make this movie today. Like movies like this, you can't make it today.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier about us maybe making this, the sniper chick turns out to be one of the prostitutes before. As writers, me and you, we'd have done that.
Right.
It would have crossed our minds to make a movie that consisted purely of atmosphere. Would never have crossed our minds. You know what I mean? There's a certain brilliance that comes with time periods. And I think the more you absorb different time periods of movies, the better as a writer you become.
Right.
I want us to do Citizen Kane at some point. I want us to do 12 Angry Men at some point. I want us to do
I want us to do the original Ocean's 11. We will do the one with George Clooney, but I want us to do with the one with Frank Sinatra.
Remember, we have to start our own show, another show where we do the new one and the old one, new one and the old one. Midnight Express, same thing as well.
What's that?
The Murder on Orient Express. Sorry.
Oh, you said there was an old one, right?
Yes, there's an older one as well.
Right.
We still have to do. God, there's so many of these.
Yeah, there's so many of them. Trust me, there's a lot. Are you talking about like old versus new?
Yes, we still have to do that. Remember?
I mean, we can do like. I just don't know if that. Okay, it's not really an old versus new, but it's sort of like the same character, but being reintroduced. El Mariachi versus Desperado.
Oh, that sounds interesting. Actually.
Yeah, because El Mariachi was done by Robert Rodriguez, remember? I think with a budget of like 15 grand or something, if I'm not mistaken. And then he did Desperado.
Yes.
But it's the same character.
Yes.
It's El Mariachi at the end of the day, even though it's different.
Yeah.
So stuff like that would also be interesting. Pardon?
15,000, right?
I think it was 15,000. I do know 15,000 was the budget for the first Paranormal Activity film, if I'm not mistaken.
I know he made a documentary out of it, didn't he? How to make a movie out of only $15,000 or something like that.
Rodriguez.
Yeah, Rodriguez. He made like a whole.
That must be the El Mariachi thing then.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. I'm 90% sure that we got it right here. But yes, that is fantastic right there. Yes, that is a good lesson. I would love us to also maybe do George Lucas, what he looks like when he's got unlimited power, and what he looks like when he's got restraint, which is of course the original trilogy.
That would be interesting because it would appear that he made a masterpiece with limited resources.
And a lot of people looking over his shoulder, including his wife. Like editing, the wife. He didn't have any yes men. You know what I mean?
Right. And he only made what 4-5 films? Because he made that one. What is it called again? It's like a model. When you read it, it seems like it's a model of a thing. You know, kind of like how Tony Stark has like the Mark V.
Yeah.
But this is before Star Wars, man. What's the name of that? Just give me a second. I'll tell you now. Because we know that he didn't direct all the.
Yes.
All the Star Wars films.
4 and 5.
THX 1138.
That is a name.
Yeah, that's the first one. Then he did American Graffiti that he likes talking about all the time. And then he did Star Wars.
Okay, kind of like how the Wachowskis had to do Bound first before they could do The Matrix. I get it.
They had to do what?
The movie, it was called Bound. So basically what happened was the Wachowskis showed up. I hate that you say the Wachowskis. But anyway, yeah, the Wachowskis showed up and they were like, we want to make The Matrix. And they were like, okay, yeah, we're not giving you $45 million or however amount it is. Like, we don't know you. And they're like, okay, how about this? You give us like a fraction of that amount and we're going to make a movie with a similar concept called Bound, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then Warner Bros. Like, enough. and they gave them the money, and they made a movie called Bounce. You should actually look it up. I've never seen the movie myself. I've seen clips. It looks pretty good, actually.
Okay.
Very creative director. It actually made some money. And they're like, okay, fair enough. So we know you know how to direct. Here's the money. And then they changed the world as we know.
Wow. Speaking of that, I know it's a lot of tangents, but I guess every conversation we're having, it's not useless. I mean, we're not just wasting time speaking nonsense. I wonder how brothers are able, or let me just say siblings are able to work together. I'm thinking about the Russo brothers, for instance. I'm thinking about the Wachowskis. I'm thinking about the Coen brothers.
Coen, yes.
Like, I wonder who does what and how they're able to agree or disagree with certain things. I mean, it's fascinating. It would be fascinating to know how what their working process is like.
First of all, I think it's even-handed parents, number one. That's number one. And also, I think it has to do with desperation, because I think it's, look, man, if we don't do this together, we don't do this.
Right. What was the first thing you said about parents?
Even-handed, as in for, parents, when they get, nah, dog, he's the older brother, give it to him. Give it to him.
Yeah.
Give it to him anyway.
I don't know if you remember a scene in Jackie Chan's Around the World in 80 Days where he he encounters the Wright brothers, right? And they're busy. So I think it's Wilbur and I forgot the other brother. So so obviously Owen Wilson is the brother that's not really doing much of the work. He's more like the sales guy. It's like, yeah, I know, he's a bit weird. I mean, he's busy drawing these he's busy drawing these aircrafty things. That's just the kind of guy he is, all right? But we have these bicycles, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like maybe that's the same thing with some of these guys. Like one of them is the idea guy. It's like Eddie from Ed and Eddie. And one of them is just Double D, man. It's like he does the work.
It makes sense if you look at the interviews, right? The person currently known as Lana Wachowski in Matrix, he was the talker in the interviews. Then the physically bigger brother, well, now sister, was kind of like quiet. So I feel like that kind of thing was a thing. You know what I mean?
Who's older between the two? Is it Lana?
I don't know. I'm assuming it's Lana because she does.
I think Lana's the one that did the current all by herself, right? Without the other brother, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, without the other sister. My apologies.
Yeah. Don't get me canceled.
Yeah, I think also with the Russo brothers, the shorter guy, not the one with the glasses, the one who appears in two Marvel films as two different characters.
That's his own monologue. Yeah, I feel like he's the one that.
Yeah, he's the one that talks a lot more. Okay, but anyway, sorry. Going back to the film.
Cool. Let's pull it back. Yeah, where were we? Yeah. We were talking about.
We're basically talking about Joker and his basically this being about his perspective of Pyle.
Yes, helping Goma run. Then finally, through that, the Joker is promoted, but as a consequence, Joker is now officially stuck with Goma. Goma is great because he's the type of character that's borderline impossible to write. He's someone you could consider differently able with how behind he is, but the Joker does his best with him, and there is improvement, which gives you hope. And then at the 22-minute mark, we get the gun scene. Then we're hit with our next phase of the storyline. So basically, it's kind of like they passed the first level of PT, and now they're getting to learn other things. Kind of like in the same way in Kung Fu, you have to first do fitness, and then you start to learn moves. Or in Coach Carter, they do fitness first, and then start actually learning moves. You know what I mean? You remember?
So it's like you have to learn the basics first before you can actually do what you thought you were gonna do first.
Exactly. Right. Yeah.
What is it that I wanted to say now?
Yeah.
There's a scene where Pyle is looking at Joker and is like, I'm really trying my best. And I think Joker says something to the effect of, We know, my man, and every one of us is really trying to help you. Like we're really, I think he was fixing his tie or something. He was
Yeah,
fixing past.
after the attack. That scene talking about is after the attack, the soap scene. So he's like, I know you guys hate me, and I know you hate me too. And then he's like, you don't hate you, man. Yeah, we're trying. And then he's like, you just keep making mistakes. And then I'm gonna get you. Yeah, cool. That's after the scene where Kyle fails the inspection, and that's where all the good stuff falls apart.
Mm.
Piles has been hiding food, and in a world of conformity, Gomer Piles has failed to do his part. Like, this is the part where you can almost say it's his fault. Like, everything else was not his fault. You know what I mean? But why would he do this? But anyway, yeah. What I find amazing.
What did you do?
Hmm?
What did he do?
Basically, this man has, you can see it in your background, that donut in the guy's
Donut scene. Yeah.
So basically, he snuck food. And obviously, remember, Piles is overweight.
Mm.
So he's supposed to lose weight. So he
Yes.
has to eat certain foods. But not only did he steal certain foods, he then took it to his thingamajig into the barracks where you're not allowed to have food at all.
Right.
Messed up on multiple levels here.
Mm. Is this where the drill instructors like, you know what? Now I'm not gonna only just punish Pile.
I'm punish him
I'm punishing everybody now.
and he specifically says, we tried our best. We gave him a special diet. He's not following it. We did our best. It's now on you guys because clearly you guys aren't motivating him. You know what I mean? Yeah. Gomer Pals is supposed to be his part. What I find amazing is how ambiguous it is. Gomer Pals is a victim of a system that wasn't built for him. Yes.
And it's like he has no choice because, like you're saying, they're drafted, right? So it's not like he wanted to be there.
Exactly. But at the same time, because that's one level of the ambiguousness. The second level is Piles guilty for not trying to maintain his discipline in a system that was designed to accommodate to his shortcomings? Because again, they tried to. And the answer to that, I say, is yes. So it's yes on both sides. You know what I mean?
Okay.
The system is not built for him. Yes. He's not trying hard enough. Yes. You know what I mean? And the type of person you are will show where you lead. Like, I think if you're in a world of gray storytelling, which is a lot of what all of us do, or black and white storytelling, which is kind of like Lord of the Rings and Star Wars, this is a moment where there's no real gray. One person will see black and another person will see white in this moment.
Because at the end of the day, and you know, when I was watching it, I remember saying this out loud. I told myself I was never gonna make it here, you know. And for me, it's the thing of, like you're saying, in as much as it's not his fault that he's there, it's not like he wanted to be there. But now that he's there, it's not the drill instructor's fault that is pushing him that much. Because he's just doing his job, right? So it's like I think Joker alluded to this, that look, you are here, you just have to make the most of it. You just have to work to the best of your ability.
If he just doesn't make mistakes, he'll be okay. Yeah. Yes. Anyway, it is not Gomer who is punished for his failure to follow rules. It's everyone else, like you said. He goes from being slow to the problem, holding the system back. That's very important because every soldier there, while we've been watching this cool moment, quietly, all these soldiers have become a part of the system. They've become a working unit.
Right.
Joker is now a part of that unit, and his individuality, that John Wayne stuff, is breaking. That kindness is breaking inside of him. Gomer asks for help only to be busted for yet another mistake. Remember, after he does the tie scene that you're talking about, right? There's a scene where everyone's doing push-ups, and there he is again sucking his thumb because something else has happened.
Yes.
And the unit, as if reacting to a foreign body, which is what Gomer has become now. He's become the foreign body, reacts violently, and the group is broke. And the group, I would argue, the first person to break isn't actually Pyle. It's actually the group. The group could have contained things. They could have held it out, but they couldn't. So what they did was they separated him, and then again, look at the Joker. He hesitates before he uses the soap thing, but then he hits he hits Piles more than everyone else. Everyone else got one hit in. Joker hits him like 5 times after trying so hard.
Yes, that's true.
Um,
It's the soap scene.
yes, that's when the soap scene hits. After his his next mistake, after the next mistake, the soap scene happens, and that's when the group can't take it anymore. They break and they attack him because he's now the foreign.
How do you think they did that? Because when I saw that, I was like, were they really hitting him with soap?
I
Or
think
they just stuck like they just like stuff like a lot of socks in there and then made it seem like it's soap.
sound design is very good if it's not real.
Yeah.
Sound design is very good.
Yeah.
But yeah, they definitely blast him so many times. I'm sure there probably was maybe they put like a barrier there so it reduced the pain, but I'm sure he was hit. Maybe I put like a slight pillow, maybe take it down by 20%. But yeah, Joker hits him the more times than everyone else. A reminder that the military breaks you down before it builds you up.
Right.
See, with Goma, you might not like what comes. You know what I mean? You might not like what comes. And to prove this, we see a wholly new Goma. And at that moment, as Goma is like, his face is like drained. At that moment, the story starts talking about killing, specifically killing. There is a lesson about Marines that become real life killers, real life mass shooters, and the hitman who killed Kennedy.
Yes.
Goma, as they say, that everyone in that room will be just as good as those guys too. Joker sees him talk to his gun like it's actually his girlfriend. Joker realized, because Joker's very smart. We underplay how smart he is.
Right.
Realize the situation, but doesn't actually report it. There's a great, which is a nice catch-22. I think I've mentioned catch-22 to you before. For those who don't know, there's a great book which became a movie called Catch-22, an absurdist comedy about soldiers trying to get out of World War II, where the officers say, if you want to get out of service, you must be crazy. But if you're crazy, then you can't be crazy because crazy people don't know that they're crazy.
Right. So you cannot self-diagnose,
Yes.
It's like the more I was watching this movie, the more I was thinking about Aaron Sorkin's A Few Good Men. Because they also had their own pile there, even though it's off screen.
Yes, but their piles dies.
Died at the beginning of the film, yes.
And that's what causes this whole thing. It's an anti-initiation movie. Not African initiation for the people out there. I'm talking about college frat initiation.
Yes, like your, what do you call it? Is it like orientation type of thing?
Yes. But I think you just call it hazing. Yes, hazing.
Right.
In South Africa, I remember I was a teenager when I saw that in South Africa it became illegal. Like it's actually literally illegal in South Africa to haze.
Because it's what? It's a form of bullying?
Yeah. And I can't remember if someone died or not, but something happened and they were like, yeah, it is literally illegal. Punishment is also literally illegal. So I'm sure, tell that to black parents, see how far that gets you.
They'll show you that it's not illegal in this house. You know what I mean?
Two higher powers you listen to in the house, your parents and God. Okay, cool. We get a moment where Piles is now even above Joker. Like Joker gets like yelled at, but Piles is out here giving perfect answers. There's been religious talk throughout the whole movie.
Didn't they like sing a happy birthday song to Jesus or something?
Yes, I mentioned that as well. Yes, instead of saying Merry Christmas, they say Happy Birthday to Jesus.
Yeah,
that's crazy. It's very interesting. And then what do they say to Piles? They say he's been born again.
Yes.
Interesting.
Like when he improves, they call it. They say he's being born again.
Hard, yeah.
There's a question I actually wanted to ask you. Especially, I think when we started seeing the later part of the film, I would say part 2 of the film, which is the Vietnam part, is who was the president around this time? This is based in the 60s, right?
Yeah, I think we discussed this with Frontier as well. It was Eisenhower that started it, so it would have been him in the beginning. But I think it would have been a different president, either Mexican. It obviously wasn't Kennedy because Kennedy's already dead. So I think it would have been Nixon.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, the late 60s, Kennedy was already dead. So the reason I'm asking is it seemed like it was very right-winged. Like this sort of, if you're saying that it was very religious.
Okay. Funny situation there. The military has always been conservative.
Yes.
That is now the new problem because the left wing's been winning so much lately in America.
Yes.
That their left wing influence has started to impact the media. I'm sorry, the military, like to the point where they're doing diversity training. They started to hire more right leaning generals and stuff like that with more right leaning opinions.
Right.
To the point where the right wing is more arguing with it. Right now, under Joe Biden, there are actual like purges happening. You know what I mean? And because of stuff like that, and because of things like General Milley, who's the current head general, I think he's retired or retiring right now. And after Afghanistan, all these things, military recruitment is at its lowest right now in America.
Okay.
Recruits come from the right wing. They come from southern towns. You know what I mean? They come from Texas.
Yeah, I mean, if you listen to for instance, going back to the film, just to add on to what you're saying, if you listen to the accent of the drill instructor,
yes,
southern, bro.
Yep.
Lieutenant Powell, you know what I'm saying? Like you can hear that this is southern, you know. But please continue.
There's no Michigan, like no, not Michigan. Is it Michigan? Where it's like gosh, like that semi-goofy sound.
There's no Boston.
Exactly. No Italian here, bro. There's no
walk.
Italians. There's no Irish people there. There's no Saints. There's none of that. So, which is ironic because they go hard after a Cowboy for being Texan. So, but yes, I agree, 100%. Mostly, but yeah, a military is a good way to get out of your life, especially in the areas they call flyover country, that Middle America part.
Right.
You remember something? It's like California, New York, and there's this whole middle area that people don't often talk about.
Right.
A lot of good people grow up, but yeah, military is a good way. In the same way that black people, it's like basketball and like, the military is a good ass way to like really improve your life. Yeah, cool. Yeah, we get a moment to, we said the Merry Christmas to Jesus. We get narration for the second time. It's almost over. Oh yeah, it's almost over. So the service has created killers. We see their march. It's in perfect lockstep. They are one, and because of that, even though many are destined to die, they are one. That they, as one, are indestructible. They are immortal. This, depending on who you are, again, is either horrifying or amazing or inspiring. If it's inspiring, then I think Kubrick puts the next moment as a thing to burst the bubble. If you know what I mean. Like if you're like, this is a beautiful moment, one coming together, then Kubrick's about to burst your bubble.
Yeah. Because at this point, it seemed like the drill instructor and Pyle were sort of, from the drill instructor's point of view, it seemed like I finally got him to improve. Him and I should be fine. There's no bad blood, this and that and the third. But as a viewer, you realize that, Pyle has been changing for the most part. His look is different.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think for him, and I could be wrong, the breaking point was the soap scene.
Yeah, of course. Oh no, that's fundamentally. Basically, what happens is, in my opinion, the soap scene is where he breaks down, right? But then when he's built up, they're talking about killers. So the way he's built up.
Oh yes, right. Because it's as if he was taking that advice from the instructor.
Yeah.
The drill instructor was basically saying, those guys might have done horrendous things outside, but they got the training here.
Yeah.
And the reason they were so accurate and precise, even though it was from a distance.
Yeah.
What they were able to do was from a distance.
Yeah.
This just proves how good the training here is.
Exactly. And how it's effective it is.
Yes.
It's like perfect. It's like perfectly fertile soil. It's up to you whether you grow wheat or you grow poison. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fortunately, the seeds in Piles's farm once the soil was ready was poison. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. 39 minutes in, by the way. This is all this stuff has happened, and it's like only a small section of the main movie if you think about it.
Yeah.
30 minutes in, we get kind of proper proof that it's over. We get military assignments. Joker becomes a robot. I mean, a reporter, which shocks even the drill sergeant.
Yeah, because it's like, why? It's like, sir, I used to be part of the school paper, sir.
It's kind of interesting about the shot because it's like, no, man, you're a killer. It's like, yes, sir, I'm a killer, sir. I close up on his face. And I just think that's really interesting. Yeah, we see Joker's face and agreeing with the drill sergeant that he's a killer. Then we get a match cut. For those who don't know, a match cut is when the scene looks the same and it cuts to something else that looks the same, but it's different and it goes from there.
Same scene, but different angles.
Well, no, same scene, but same angle, same picture, but it actually means something different. So we get Thingamajiggy's face, right? A close-up of a face, which is Joker. Then we get a close-up of Piles. So like the one picture matches the other picture.
Oh, I get you.
Yeah, that's what
I'm called.
A match cut.
Match cut, okay.
Yeah. And then we see Gomez Piles' face, a true killer reborn. Then we cut to the night where, of course, Joker. This is how you know that it's Joker's movie. Joker is the one on patrol. It's the last night. Joker's on patrol.
Right.
Narration. This is the last night. You'll notice the narration is all like one sentence. It's all very minimal. It's just setting up the circling setting. Kind of same way in modern movies nowadays. What they do is they make that stupid sound, and then you see writing in the corner. You know what I mean? Like that. And then writing will come in the corner. It's like Japan, 5 o'clock.
Oh yeah.
I mean, of course, I think Avengers, what they did was the big white letters, but a lot of movies will do the sound and then
yeah, you're right. Nowadays, because the two movies that I can think about actually, if not three, is like you said, I think it's Avengers Endgame.
Marvel movies, yeah.
And I think Civil War actually. And the movie Air, which is the movie that I would like us to talk about. And I think also X-Men Age of Apocalypse, where they even use the font, I think it's Futura, if not Helvetica, one of the two. Yeah, it's just goof, and then you see the...
Yeah, they make the goof sound. So
they don't get anymore.
Yeah.
It used to apply at like these military-themed movies, yeah.
True. So I think a lot more movies started doing it lately. But yes, I agree. A lot. Military was the main one where you saw like 1800 hours, Djibouti.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. But anyway, yeah. Yeah. So basically, that's what the narration's doing. Because I guess in those days you couldn't do that. Yeah, it was film. How are you gonna put it in film? Yeah. We get him walking. It's very quiet. He hears a sound, and this is kind of interesting because you don't know if the sound is diegetic. You hear the ding, 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 and that's not a real sound. But you hear that, and you kind of see Joker noticing. There's some interesting camera stuff going on here.
Right.
Basically, we get walking, and he hears a sound. He shines a light in the darkness on the drill instructor's door, where it says drill instructor in big ass Avengers style letters. Actually, now that I think about it, yeah, we're setting up who comes from where and where what is in what scene. So this is a very beautiful that I wish more movies would do. Because a lot of movies, what they'll do is just do like an overhead and then they're done. That's your master shot to see where everything is. This is a very clever way. So it shines in the door, goes drill instructors on the left.
Right.
The thing. And it's so funny because what toilet have you ever seen in your life that says head? That's a toilet. It just says head. Yes, right. We all know it means the head, but why would you formally write that?
Right.
But you understand immediately. Yeah, then you find out, yeah, the sound is not diegetic, it's coming from outside for those who don't know what diegetic means, it means it's coming from inside the movie. No, it's not diegetic, it's coming from outside the movie. But it pauses
What's the word you're referring to?
Huh?
What's that word?
Diegetic.
Diegetic.
Yes. So for example, Tarantino movie, when they start playing like music, 9 times out of 10 it's not diegetic. Unless you suddenly see the guy on the radio, like fidgeting with the radio and then music starts playing, that's diegetic music. So the music.
Oh. Like it's actually part of the film.
Yeah.
Interesting. I didn't know that word.
Okay, yeah. Let's hope I said it right, but I think I did. I'm 20% sure I'm right there. I just know it starts with a D. But yeah. So they're coming from outside the movie, but it pauses. The outside movie pauses as this man is like putting bullets into his gun. So you don't know, because the sound is clearly not the sound of him putting bullets into a magazine, right? But at the same time, it would make sense if that's what the sound was. So I don't know what he's doing here. Like he decided the sound of a thingamajiggy going to a cartridge would be too obvious. He decided to make a more creepy sound instead. This is a very interesting directing trick. I think he's made the decision to deliberately make a creepy sound over a real sound.
Right.
But yeah, as tension, Joker finds Gomer in the head, holding his rifle. The man looks absolutely demonic, which, if you actually think about it, is slightly below quality for Vincent D'Onofrio's acting, if you think of it as a hyper-realistic thing. But if you understand that this is a deliberate move by Stanley Kubrick. In an interview, he once described his film process as not taking a picture of society. What he does, he takes a picture of the picture of society.
Oh,
yes.
This is how we see people, or this is how we're supposed. This is how we expect to see an angry character.
Yes.
Versus how.
So there's the expectation, and then he's looking at our expectation. If that makes sense. The way if I check out someone's ass versus me checking out you as you check out someone else's ass, you know what I mean?
Right.
Kind of. Yeah. So basically, when you do a picture of a picture, right, or you do a photocopy of a photocopy, it comes out distorted. You know what I mean? And that's what Vincent D'Onofrio kind of does here.
Yeah, because I felt the same way when I saw it. I was like, this is too.
It's too much.
It's too much. Like, I can tell you're acting now.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
yeah.
Loki gave us the same face in Avengers when he landed. You know, and we spoke about that previously, but that look, it's like, what, you're trying to show us that you're a villain?
Yes, exactly. But that's exactly the point that Stanley Kubrick is trying to get. He's trying to do that because it gives you, whether you like it or not, a sensation. Right. And he wants you to think, oh, this thing. No. He wants the sensation. The sensation you get when you see that, that's what he wants.
I guess also, man, this is something that I was also thinking about when I was watching this. Is these characters are so complex because would you say Pyle is a villain?
No, he shouldn't have been there. He wasn't supposed to be there.
Yeah, because he just became a product of that environment. Right?
What he probably should have become was like a mechanic's assistant for the rest of his life. You know what I mean?
And then the drill instructor, was he a villain?
No, because people are good soldiers.
Yes.
Funny enough, I don't know if I mentioned it here, but to me, what I think about this whole thing is that it's like the school system. I don't know if I've ever ranted to you about the school system before, but the school system is designed to collect averages. It's supposed to grab the average person.
Yes.
But now the problem is it doesn't know what to do with people who are struggling below, and it doesn't know what to do with geniuses. So what it ends up doing,
it puts everybody in the same bracket, from average to genius.
Exactly. So it bores the geniuses, so they become a problem. So then it punishes them by first it bores them, and then when they act out, it punishes them. And then it strains the people who are below, and because it strains them, it either leaves them behind or hurts everyone else in order to accommodate them, which then makes all of these people, just like with this movie, mad at slow people. You know what I mean?
Mad at
the people who are slow. So basically,
right.
If it's moving like this, right, and the geniuses are doing this, they have to be beaten up to be pushed back, right? And then the people who are being left behind, because people have to accommodate, the whole group turns on the people who are left behind, which is exactly what the story says.
Right. Because with the geniuses, rebellion is their form of curbing their boredom.
Yes, exactly.
But with the school, they see rebellion as them being hooligans.
Yeah, it's a greater problem. Yeah. Greater problem.
Right. I'm with you on that one. I'm with you.
So that's kind of the problem when it comes to systems that are designed to accommodate large groups.
Right.
We still need them. We still need school. But if we don't create alternative systems to accommodate the smaller groups, what ends up happening is they end up slowing down the main system. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that's a good observation, Rob. I don't want to lie. Because I'm even thinking about this out of school where you have these overachievers at work. But unfortunately, they're not treated as overachievers. They're treated the same way as everybody else. Now they get frustrated because they feel like they're being slowed down by the slower people. Right. Oh, and that also frustrates, like you're saying, it also frustrates the ones that are really at the bottom because they feel like, I mean, why is this guy, they start questioning people they shouldn't question even. Because the company does not view those people as extraordinary people. So now even the lowest of the low starts seeing them as just ordinary employees. Yeah, that's interesting. That's an interesting thing.
If someone who's below average in your work group, then the whole work group turns on that guy. Like, yeah. But yeah, that's what ends up happening here. And this is very interesting to me. That's what I find fascinating. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. The whole societal photo. Yeah. So basically, the whole thing is distorted. There's an excellent moment that shows the story's value. Joker says that this is great directing. Joker and dialogue. Joker says, if Hartman sees this, we'll be in a world of shit. Said one way. Gomer, aka Leonard, says, I am in a world of shit. Same line, completely different meaning.
Yeah.
And he's right. Like we're discussing now about the system not being built for him. He's in a world of shit.
Yes.
Shit world for him.
And it's wow. I'm just thinking about it now that we talk about it. Isn't it ironic that they're purposely using the word shit in a toilet? Like they
There's an extra meaning I never thought of right there. There's the third meaning.
because the more you think about it, the more I'm thinking, oh flip, they're actually
in a toilet. In the toilet seat as we speak.
Right.
Yep. But I just love the way that can mean two very different things. And again, they're both right. Thingamajiggy, who has been accepted by the system, is like, we're going to get in trouble.
Yes.
Thingamajiggy, who hasn't been in the system, who's outside the system, who's a foreign object, is like, everything is trouble.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Brilliant. It's brilliant. And it's consistent throughout the whole movie. It has not, see, a lot of modern movies, well, sometimes what they do is they write in the moment. In fact, how I'm guilty of this. You write in the moment, and then maybe after your third or fourth draft, you're like, wait, this doesn't make sense. This, I check why you do multiple drafts.
Yes.
This consistency is why you do multiple drafts. So all the writers out there, this is my lesson to you. Multiple drafts. No more, no less than 3. But yeah,
No less than 3, no?
minimum. I believe in numbers such as 8 and 9 and up. It all depends on your own patience.
Right.
You must almost be sick and tired of your own writing. That's what I believe.
Yeah. I mean, was it Scorsese who was saying that? Okay, but we'll talk about that offline. I'm not quite sure if you checked that masterclass yet, but he was basically saying if you don't fall sick, so basically if you don't feel like giving up on this project, then you're not ready to become a director or something along those lines. So that's why I'm asking, because it seems like, and I think that's why, and I know this as a graphic designer, when you work on something like an annual report or a magazine, because of the many changes that you had to make, because of the many edits that were made, usually the proofreader, the writer, or editor, whoever you want to call them, the designer, they don't want to see that thing once it's printed, bro. Because we've been doing this thing, So I feel like that's what also happens with some of these writers and directors. It's like once this thing is done, they don't want anything to do with it anymore. They're done.
I can imagine that a graphic designer, fuck you, right? Now you speak of graphic designers like this, you make me think of that Ryan Gosling skit again with Avatar.
The logo, the font. He just put papyrus there, like he just used papyrus. I don't get it.
Bad about the sequels. The sequels? And it's honest to God, one of the funniest. Okay, yeah, we're getting distracted, but you're a guy who concentrates about your art so much, but you see someone just chucking in papyrus and you can detect it immediately. As an artist,
we wouldn't notice, but we did.
Batman's playing Gallagher. Sure, you wouldn't notice.
But we didn't notice, but we did. And truth be told, bro, after that whole entire situation, you see the guy going back to playing Gallagher. I think those are the moments where you realize, because one of the questions I used to have, I know it's a tangent, we'll go back to the movie quickly. One of the things that I used to ask myself is, how is Batman the CEO, but is barely ever at the company? Tony Stark, same thing. T'Challa is a king, but he's barely in Wakanda. You're like, how are you guys leading? But when you see moments like that man's playing Gallagher, you realize this guy is so good at multitasking that he doesn't have to be at the office to actually get stuff done.
I mean, hell, he saved his company, tens of millions by physically carrying the pipes himself. I'm sure that was tens of millions saved. Of course, his parts. And Christopher Nolan explained it by having Lucius Fox, who, as far as I know, was not half as big a character until the Batman movies came out, right? Like, I don't think he was that.
I was never familiar. I mean, even Morgan Freeman, I think if I remember correctly, when I was reading some of the articles, he said that he's been reading Batman for decades, but he was not familiar with Lucius Fox.
Damn. I think it's one of those situations where, like, the comics were like, yeah, there's a small character. If you want to, you can elevate him 10,000%.
Right. And it sort of makes more sense than to have Alfred doing these things, because you're like, but Alfred is a butler. Like, I don't understand why he now is this technological genius. But if you have someone at Wayne Tech helping, someone with actual degrees in technology, it makes sense.
And they explain it so well by saying, yeah, what you'll do is you buy 10,000 parts of this part, you buy 10,000 parts of this part, where it'll all make sense. And you take the pieces together and you build it together. So no one knows what the total product is. Yes. In fact, they've done that before in a movie called The Fly, starring Jeff Goldblum. When they set up how he built the machine, basically used the same principle. And this is movies in the 80s. He said, yeah, pieces were built by this company. He said he himself doesn't even know how it's all together. He's just like a manager, basically. So he just he's like, I want this, I want this, I want this, and then the pieces were put together. And I love how, honest to God, this is my favorite part of writing, is when you just sit and you think about something.
Yeah.
I wish I could just like let me just show you this. That is my floor over there. That is my things over there. If you can see it, the papers. That is me just thinking about a small section of one book. I don't, it's too much mess, but I'd show you another stack of papers where that is just me thinking about one thing. That's what you do. You just sit and you just get to think about it.
Yes.
I don't understand how no one could ever not love that. It is one of the greatest things in the world.
Look, as a creative, those are the moments that you actually, I think, one thing I think I've realized about creatives is, that whole thing about the journey is more important than the destination.
Yeah.
I think that's what happens with creatives because, there's a guy called Naoki Urasawa. He thought of one of his best work. He actually thought about it while he was in the bathtub. I think he was bathing or something.
My shower has inspired so many things.
Yes. Yes. And I guess that's why also some people, which is something I fail dismally at, but some people have like notebooks by their desks, by their bed. What's this? But next to their beds, because sometimes they're woken up by an idea and they want to write it down immediately.
This is not even me reaching far. This is just me like grabbing randomly, dog. This is me grabbing randomly in any direction.
Yeah, man. Look at. I don't know if you can see. I don't know if you can see. You won't be able to see. Yeah, you won't be able to see. Yeah, but I wanted to show you something quickly. Let me see if I can show you quickly. You see that desk over there?
Yeah, look at that. Nice microphone. Look at you.
That's my stuff right there. Like, there's this book, for instance.
Ooh, nice.
Practice. I'm not sure if I showed you this book before, but basically, I know it's a tangent, but whoever's watching, like I said, everything that we talk about is not useless. It's very important. This page over here, right? It shows like if you want to write the character, it shows you nickname, birthday, height, weight, like a sheet, blood type, all these things, and it shows you.
The Japanese take blood type seriously, yeah.
They do, man. School, age, sex, birthplace.
Nice.
Like almost everything that you can think of. Like, even like chronic illnesses or stuff like that. But yeah. So, guys, part of the reason that Rob and I are even doing this podcast is just to show you guys.
Yes, check it out.
Passion.
These are characters that are not even in the book I'm writing, but they're side characters that you don't even get to see. Like over here, like you might get to hear them maybe mentioned once. This is an entire full. Like I actually want you to do this. I was going to show you how to do this as well. Right. So, main character's name, and then basically you can't really see it from that close, but basically a full biography. That's a short one because only 3 pages.
Right.
Again, very characters you barely see. Did the full design, and then this one is like 10 pages. Sort of staples to keep together. 10 pages. Every single page is a different character.
Right.
Like throw away. Like this is what we do, man. This is what we do.
You know.
Yeah.
Aaron Sorkin, I'm not sure if you saw his masterclass yet, but he was talking about how when he was young, his dad took him to, I think they were shooting All the President's Men with Robert Redford and Dustin Hoffman.
Yeah.
And he was saying when they got there, they showed him like the desks where Robert Redford and Dustin Hoffman were working, like in the movie. I think that's the movie where they were playing journalists. I'm sure you're familiar with the movie, right? When he looked into the trash trash bins of trash cans of these characters, there was like, I think there were like articles, newspaper articles in the in the trash bins. And Aaron Sorkin was like, this is something that you'll never see in the movie. The camera will never show you that detail of the newspaper articles in the trash cans. Only he knows, you know. Even J.K. Rowling said the same thing about how there's certain information that the writer will know that might not even be in the books you're writing, but you know that information.
Yeah. I sincerely believe a book should be, okay, this is world building, and this is the book. That's because
Yeah.
there's a reason why our characters are doing things. And if you make things up constantly, your storyline will do this.
There'll be a lot of plot holes that don't make sense.
Exactly. That are inconsistent, because what happens is when we build a clear consistency that goes outside the storyline without you even knowing about it, you will go, this makes sense. The viewer will go, this makes sense. Even though they don't know the part that the cousin died or so and so, and he's still mourning the death of so and so, he doesn't like to talk about it. His quietness will make sense. Let's say if he's like dealing with it, doesn't want to talk about something.
Right.
His quietness will make sense because you'll relate to that. That makes sense. That's more relatable than me going, oh, this guy is quiet and mysterious. Okay, yeah, that's fine, but he shouldn't be mysterious to you. You're the writer.
Right.
I mean, the fact that he's mysterious to you means that he's not mysterious. It's just kind of lame to me. Why a mystery detective writer will always write the end first and then work backwards. That way they know they're not making stuff up in the middle. You know what I mean?
Oh, is that how they do it?
That's how a lot of them do it, yeah. Because what ends up happening is you end up, if you don't know what's going to happen at the end, you end up freestyling.
Yeah, because you're trying to come up with a way of showing how smart your detective is, and you need to sort of plant clues or come up with clues that would make sense at the end of the day. I think I saw this with George Lucas when he was doing Star Wars, where Obi-Wan said that you killed my father. Like, I'm sure then he thought about it on the spot, like, no, I'm your father. You know?
Yeah. Look at Princess Leia. How is it possible that Vader can sense his son but can't sense his daughter, who's in the same room as him? You know what I mean?
Yes. And also, what you just said there is true. Because I remember also even the conversation that she has with Luke saying that she remembers her mother. But when you look at the Revenge of the Sith, how can you remember? I mean, you were just born.
Yeah. Yeah. It's stuff that's being made up along the way.
Yes.
Lucas always, I mean, George has always said, he's my friend. Okay, George Lucas has always said he had written stuff in advance that the book has always been 4, 5, and 6. You will never convince me that when he said 4, 5, and 6, 1, 2, and 3 were actually written. Maybe they were in his head, but there was no way that man put a pen in his hands and wrote bullshit.
Yeah, look, as a creative, I do get where he's coming from. But going back to what you were showing me now is you might have bits and pieces of ideas.
Yeah.
But you don't actually have a comprehensive story.
Absolutely.
4, 5, and 6. That's important. You probably just think, okay, Darth Vader is going to come back for revenge. Or the Empire is going to come back for revenge. And then Luke is going to come back and then he's going to basically kill Palpatine or whatever. But you don't really know. You didn't even think about how the Ewoks are gonna appear and save them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't
I'm also
care about stuff.
grateful. Yeah, exactly. But I'm almost grateful that he didn't, because if you think about it, if the George the George Lucas of the prequels was the same person as the guy who wrote the original trilogy, what would have happened was, we, instead of us getting Luke meeting Obi-Wan and then meeting so and so, it would have been Luke going to a meeting, then going to another meeting, then going to a Senate meeting, then going to another meeting, then Ben to a meeting. Because it was, don't get me wrong, I like the politics in the prequels, but we can all agree it slows the flow of the storyline. The New Hope would have done this and then gone up. But now, as it is, the New Hope just does this.
Yeah.
So I'm almost grateful that he was freestyling. These were the first one. With the other ones, we can discuss how him making things up as he goes along has consequences.
Yeah.
But the first one, where it's just a book, cool. That's why it's a masterpiece, because it's just him. But yeah, anyway, this is a cool tangent. I had a lot of fun with this tangent. It's probably one of our best.
Indeed.
Do I put it back?
Yes.
Right, cool. Yeah, okay, we said the world of shit. Yeah. Go Leonard starts doing his drills, his gun drill at full volume. And Joker can only watch in horror. There's nothing he can do. So people wake up. Hartman wakes up and naturally he loses his shit.
What does he say again? This is my gun. I'll always have it with me at all times. This is my rifle or something like that.
My rifle is my strap.
Just give me a second.
Yeah. One of the most iconic lines of all time. Okay, this is my rifle in Google.
Yeah.
There's no other like it. There are many like it, but this one is mine. There are many like it, but this one is mine.
Yes. This is my rifle. There are many others like it, but this is mine. My rifle is my best friend. Yeah.
Yes. And he calls his gun Charlene, right?
Yeah, it is my life. I must master it as I must master. Just give me a second.
No problem.
I just want to say it properly. This is my rifle. There are many like it, but this one is mine. My rifle is my best friend. It is my life. I must master it as I must master my life. Without me, my rifle is useless. Without my rifle, I am useless. I must fire my rifle true. I must shoot straighter than my enemy who's trying to kill me. I must shoot him before he shoots me. I will before God. I swear this creed. My rifle and myself are defenders of my country. We are the masters of our enemy. We are the survivors of my life. So be it until there is no enemy but peace. Amen. Jeez.
That is beautiful. That is legitimately beautiful. Which is why it's so cool that it's in such an ugly moment. That is a beautiful thing in an ugly moment, said in the worst way possible.
Right.
I think that's amazing. Cool. Yeah, this could not be made today. This is a movie like oh yeah. Also, we see Powers' face. He's at his most demonic. His face, his eyes are gone. He goes full Undertaker.
Right.
The image is even more. His face is more distorted than ever. And then the drill sergeant steps in. Now he could take it easy, and he tries to in the beginning. He's like, "No, put the gun down."
Yeah.
But the drill sergeant is the drill sergeant, and he can't change. So he stays his hard ass self, and he's like, "What? Do you want love by your parents? You need attention," and gets shot and killed instantly.
And I guess he's the wrong person to try and speak to Lieutenant Pyle. Like, he's the last person because he's the one that drove him there. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So sometimes you might be in authority, but I think Pyle needed to listen to Joker more than anyone else.
Yes. And the Joker, of course, is the exact opposite. Joker is stunned but tries to calm him, changes the tone, and suddenly I think the previous Joker kindness comes up, and Piles instead of going to a shooting, decides to kill himself.
I wanted to ask you about that.
Mhm.
How did they do that? Because you see that his brains are blown out as well. Like you could see, like, you know, when it was splatting like behind him.
Well, the way I see it is something classic squib. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Just Vincent probably just took the pain. Because I know those things can be painful. Just an actual bomb that went off in his head, like when I say a bomb, like a little battery burst kind of thing, that kind of sprayed the stuff. Because remember, there's no CGI in those days.
Right.
Yeah, device that kind of just popped in the back of his head, and that's how you get that. That's how I see it. And then I can only hope they got it right the first time. They have to make him do it 10 times.
No, they probably got it right the first time.
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
Yeah, because that's a concussion right there. I once saw one of those old, like Uwe Boll type movies, basically.
Uwe Boll.
Yeah, but basically one of the characters had a squib go off on his head, right? But then he's supposed to like play dead for the rest of the scene, right? But then what happened was the squib was obviously too painful, so he had a big knock on his head.
Oh yes, I remember you told me this before. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a thing. That's how powerful that squibs for you. It's a bomb going off on your skin.
So it will definitely be painful.
Yeah, that's like I assume he's getting hit. It's like getting hit with a paintball.
Yeah.
He has been hit with a paintball.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, then you know. Yeah.
I have.
The story of the entire first part at 45 minutes ends. No aftermath, no epilogue. We just immediately move on. And the jarring, just whiplash and down, 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 down. Famous song, these boots are made for walking. And that's just what we'll do. Yeah.
Actually, the music in here.
Classic songs, yeah.
There's so many things that happen in this movie that made me realize, oh, this movie inspired so many. That was my mindset when I saw it. It's like,
yes,
clearly, a lot of other sitcoms and movies and whatever reference a lot of. I'll give you an example. There's two things. Actually, there's three things.
You say South Park?
That made me think that well, not South Park, but there's three things that made me realize that, yeah, this movie was very influential in a lot of ways. One, Me Love You Long Time.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Two, the song Abanda Bang Bang Bang, the bangity bang, and the bang.
Where is the word? Yeah.
Bang is a word. And Family Guy, obviously.
Your Family Guy.
And then there's something else that the prostitute said, man, that
Me so horny.
Me so horny, yeah, that's the one. That's the one. So I'm like, oh, so this is where it comes from. This is where they all come from, these quotables.
Iconic ass movie. One of the most iconic movies of all time. I would say it's more quotable than Citizen Kane, which is considered to be one of the greatest movies of all time. This has more quotes in it. This has more quotes than 12 Angry Men, also considered one of the greatest movies of all time. Just the most quotable movie. I think only Star Wars comes close. Wow. Which is crazy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, see, man, what do we do now?
I think let's leave it here. I think tomorrow we can then focus on the second part of because, like I said, it does kind of feel like two films.
And how would you rate this film?
This part. I don't want to lie to you. When this part ended, I was like, wait, there's still more to this film? Not because I was waiting for it to end, but it was such a beautiful. I mean, it could have ended right there, and it could have been a masterpiece of note. This part, I'd give it an 8. No, I'd give it a 9.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I'd definitely give it a 9. I think the only reason I'm not giving it a 9 is just that Vincent's face. I know you're saying it was on purpose, but it threw me off a bit. Otherwise, I would have given it a 10 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a 9 for me. Brilliant.
Brilliant. I'm going to give it a solid 10 because I've thought about this a lot. I think this movie, I think it went from an 8 to me. Then I watched this movie and I realized, oh. And I think when you watch a movie again, I think that the distortions will make a lot more sense to you, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But not now. Don't watch it again today. I mean, like.
Yeah. No, I get it. I trust me. I understand what Kubrick was trying to achieve, but I do get where you're coming from when you're saying that there's some things that I would see later on and be like, I should have given this movie a 10, but
yeah.
I feel like, yeah, man, that scene for me is, I get it, I understand it, but I think it still would have worked if that was not shown. I think maybe it might not have been as effective, but I think it would have worked. That's what I think.
That's fair enough. I love the 9 anyway. So what I want to talk about is something I was going to talk about in the next part, but I think because I noticed it when I was watching the next part, and I look backwards, just look at the scene behind you. Look at the perfect cinematography of this scene.
Yeah.
This is a beautiful movie. This is an absolutely gorgeous, stunning movie. And I think we underrate, first of all, think about how many old movies you've seen, how well they hold up. Don't get me wrong, it was amazing. But
what?
Shooting on film is amazing.
Oh.
I think a lot of movies feel washed out.
Yeah.
With the exception of a few movies like maybe Blade Runner. This movie never feels washed out. These actors put in their most. When you see Gomer Pyle, Vincent D'Onofrio trying to climb that thing and just hitting his stomach and going over, the level of energy in this movie is something that doesn't exist in modern movies. Like, there's some point I want to talk about in the next movie. Like, it's so funny. I was actually making fun of Ahsoka. There's a scene where I make fun of Ahsoka in the next one, where like the two characters meet each other, and there's more energy there from them seeing each other again than there was in Ahsoka.
No, that's true. That is true. Actually, I felt like they really hadn't seen each other for years, and I'm sure these guys they were already on set. But
yes, but the fact that they managed to convince us so completely.
The fact that they hugged each other twice.
Yes.
Says a lot.
Yes.
That themselves says a lot.
And you can see the muscles as they like really hug each other because they're just dog.
Yeah.
Dog, I'm getting angry. I didn't even watch Rebels. But even I can feel that Ezra should have been a lot happier. He shouldn't have been trying to be cool. What's her face who sacrificed the world should not have been trying to be cool too. It doesn't make sense.
Who? Sabine.
Sabine, yes, to meet Ezra.
Look, that reunion was so underwhelming. I didn't watch Rebels as well, but when I saw Sabine finally, I mean, these people were talking about meeting Ezra for a few episodes. When they finally see Ezra, it's also this is where you are. I'm like, huh?
He's not a set of keys.
Why are you acting like this guy? Like you saw this guy last night. Like you were looking everywhere for this guy.
Oh, it doesn't make sense. Oh, I could yell about that for the longest time.
Even when Ahsoka, I mean, the guys, we spoke about it on Netgasm podcast, Tibetlo's channel, but even when Ahsoka was like, and missed this reunion, I'm like, there's almost zero emotion.
Dog, why are you talking in third person? What do you mean miss this reunion? Why are you talking like you're watching TV? You're in the scene. This is your reunion. More.
Yeah, no, it's yeah. I don't know what Dave Filoni was thinking in terms of direction there, but
I didn't
so many pieces.
and being like, please show more emotion in this. Please, please, you're actors. I know you can do good things. Don't do this.
Right.
Get rid of the Xanax or Valium, whatever they take. Give them a Red Bull and give me some emotion. That's the Star Wars problem. I've yet to watch. I think I'm gonna officially watch it this week. After I finally watch One Piece, I'm going to watch the one that everyone talks about. Not Rebel. What's it called again? The one that everyone loves, the prison one.
What's that? Star Wars.
Star Wars, the Rogue one, not the movie. Star Wars Rogue. Andor. Yes, I'm finally gonna watch that because I need to see what the hype is about. I
haven't watched that yet, and apparently it's one of the stronger ones. Andor and the Mandalorian are apparently other, but apparently Andor doesn't feel like a star. It could just be its own thing.
Yes, that's what I've heard. What I like about Mandalorian is it's a Western. You know what I mean? It's a Western. Because remember, George Lucas was like, okay, think Kurosawa movies and then think Flash Gordon.
Yes. Yes.
That's what Mandalorian is. I mean, the opening battle where he like shoots the thing and then it closes the door on the guy's waist. That's some badass. That's
also what Star Wars is. Star Wars is Flash Gordon and Kurosawa films.
Yes. But then look at Ahsoka. They tried to do Kurosawa, but they didn't do it because you've seen. I'm assuming you've never watched the original Seven Samurai.
No, I mean, that's one of the movies that we still need to watch.
Yes.
I know it's old, it's black and white, but it's a movie that I really want to watch. I know Seven Samurai inspired the Magnificent Seven.
Yes, which is why if you're going to do a new and old, we have to watch 3 Seven Samurai movies, I believe, because there's the anime. There's
funny enough, the anime is called Samurai 7.
Yes, I loved it. Then of course there's the Magnificent Seven, and there's the Denzel Washington Magnificent Seven. So that's at least 4 things we have to watch just to discuss the movie. But anyway, that's not the point. There's this crazy scene, right, that I think Ahsoka tried to copy. I think they did. If they did, I hate them. Basically, there's this where the two samurai are basically staring each other down, and Ahsoka and the smoke creature.
Right.
They do the thing where they're like, whoosh. Yeah. In the thingamajiggy, it's basically they stare each other down for almost a minute, and, right? And then the one guy's like, ah, and then a sprinkler go, Tarantino style blood gushes out of the guy's chest. Just whoosh, and he dies. Obviously, they can't do that in Ahsoka, but give me more than smoke creature. Give me Samurai Jack oil. Remember oil? Yeah. Samurai Jack figured it out. Give me oil.
Yeah.
Unleaded.
Right.
What's it, 94? I don't drive a car.
95 unleaded, Chief.
Give me that.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, that's a final tangent. I don't know.
Yeah, guys. Thank you so much for checking out the video. Let us know your thoughts about this movie. I mean, Rob recommended it, and I loved every moment of this film. From the moment as I laughed, like he is funny. The drill instructor is funny, but at the same time he's menacing. He's very intimidating, and that's what you need from someone in authority. I mean, in part 2 we will talk about other authority figures that Joker encounters. There's a specific one that I liked who was asking him about, the badge. And
oh, yes.
we'll definitely get there tomorrow.
I'm excited already.
We'll definitely get there tomorrow. But guys, thank you so much. Once again, this is African Frame. African Frame is about dissecting films, trivia, giving encyclopedic knowledge about certain things. And before we close, Rob, is there anything you want to say? I know that you're still pushing your stuff.
Yeah, getting closer to the Jin's War release, I will be borrowing money so I can take out physical copies of the book, and I'll be selling those myself. Hopefully you guys will be hitting me up. Probably be about 200, 250 per book. You'll probably get that end of December, early January. I'm aiming for Christmas. But yeah, that's my big news. Cool.
All right, dope. And yeah, guys, if you're interested in manga or anime, then you can watch Africa's Next podcast is also on this channel. If you're interested in hip hop, there's a hip hop podcast on this channel. Or if you're interested in learning more about maybe Rob or animators or comic book creators, then check out Mr. Extraordinary Talks podcast, where I talk to these people individually and get to basically understand their creative processes and the things that they love and they're passionate about. So yeah, there's a lot to cover. There's a lot to check out on the channel. But yeah, thank you so much for checking it out, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.
Cheers.